Hi, I'm Mike Perry. I'm the founder, roaster, and green coffee buyer here at Klatch Coffee. Welcome to my office. Today we're going to talk about cupping, and we're going to get to do a cupping together. You know, we're very lucky here at Klatch to get some of the best coffees in the world on this table. When we look for great coffee, we taste a ton. I visit the farmers, I visit the producers. We get to really get to know each other. We get to experiment together and come up with things, and we find great coffee. We bring it here. As you can see, we get to sample roast it. As we sample roast it, we check the moisture, we check the water activity, we check the density. We do a whole bunch of things to make sure that coffee that comes in here is just what we want, just what we bought. We then sample roast it to make sure we're getting the quality that we found at origin. And when it's right and it's approved, we bring the coffee in. And the coffee starts at our cupping table, and we work it till we get profiles that we can use downstairs in our roastery. And some of that noise you hear in the background is our roastery as we're working away in production. So once the coffee's roasted, we still have to check the quality on everything. And today, we're actually going to check profiles and cupping of actually coffees from production. So to start out, we have to first weigh out our coffee and weigh out the green coffee. So we're going to come over here to the scale. We're going to weigh out 14 grams of each coffee. I like to use roughly 2 grams of coffee for every ounce of water. So we have 7-ounce cups. That's about 14 grams is how we come up with that. Coarse salt, pepper type, more of a drip than an auto drip, just a little bit coarser than you would do for your machine at home. And once they're ground, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go through and we're going to smell that, because coffee is, you almost taste with your nose as well. So as I come around, I like to pick them up, shake them, mix them up, release those fragrances, and just smell that wonderful coffee. As I smell this one here, I just get a really nice tropical and kind of a bit of a spicy note coming through. Go to the next coffee. Nice savory chocolate, kind of caramel coming through. Hints of fruit, almost tomato-like. And I'm going to work my way around the table. And as I do, I'm going to make notes here so we have a record of everything, because we want to tie every cup to the production roaster, what we do. So as you look here on my sheet, we use software here, and we have this sheet where it's all fancy. But you don't need to do the same thing. You can just taste them all and see what you like. Whether your beverage of choice is beer or wine or sodas or juice, we all taste stuff every single day. And that's all we're doing here, is tasting and seeing what we like. In my particular case, we want to make sure it's consistent, but we're going to have fun. And that's the best part of cupping and the best part of my day. So we've now ground these. We now have this. It's time to add the water. So you have the water right off the boiler now. You can actually see the water boiling. We're just going to let that boil dissipate. Once off the boil, that's where we're going to add the water. So as I add the water, the idea is to get the grounds wet. If I hit it just right on kind of the side of the grounds, the water will turn and swirl and cover everything. So we're going to pour, nice twirl, get it to the top. The nice thing about these cups is I take it right to the top, they're going to have the same amount of water. And as I said, in this particular case, we use about 14 grams of coffee to 7 ounces of water. I'm going to start a timer because I want to keep track of what we're doing and everything. I'm going to work my way around the table. I'm going to fill these all up, and I'll be back in a minute, and we'll do some tasting. So now we've poured them all. You can see there's like all the grounds have floated to the top. There's like this crust on top. I like to go through and smell the crust, like a preview of what's coming. So now it's time to break that crust. It's like taking a lid off a bowl of soup. You're going to smell that wonderful aroma. Often I just get to break one, and my partner, a co-cupper, will get to break the second. Today I get to do them both. So working my way around, putting the notes in. And the idea is, I want to go around the table about the same time I had poured on, so I'm hitting them all at the same time. So I'm going to continue down this table and go around, cleaning that off. I'm going to work my way right around this entire table, doing that to each one, skimming off a little bit on top. You can see almost all the grounds actually fell to the bottom. Just a little bit of foam on top. Clean them around, and I'll keep going. This one, you can go, holy cow, look at all that. Top of a thick shake or something. There's a lot in there. Well, this is darker roast coffee. The darker roast, the beans are actually lighter, they're darker, and we get a lot more with this foam on top. But we just clean it off like the rest, and we'll taste it as well. These are actual production roasts. So we want to see what they're like. I'm going to show you the COVID protocol, and I'm going to show you what we normally do. So because of COVID, we're not drinking directly from the cup or even putting our spoon in that cup. I have a little separate cup that I use. I have these 2 cups, and I have a spoon here dedicated for them. And I'm going to put a couple of spoons in there, rinse it off, put that back. And I got my own cupping spoon that I'm going to taste with. And basically the way I taste is I slurp. All the stuff your mom told you can't do, this is where you get to have fun. We're going to put it in, I fill it about halfway, and I'm going to breathe in, I'm going to aerate, I'm going to spray it all over my mouth. Let it sit there a second, and then I swallow it down. Go again. Wonderful. Clean, crisp, the citrus, the tropical, the savory are all coming through. Wonderful, wonderful. Love this coffee. I'm going to go to the next coffee. I'm going to dip this back in. I'm going to dip it in here. I'm going to put it in my cup again, and I'm going to taste out of my cup. Oh, wow. This one's much different, a little more intense, a little more savory, a little more tropical coming in this note. Wow. I'm getting pineapple, I'm getting apricot. I'm going to add my flavor notes. I'm just going to put what it tastes like, what I like. I'm not going to worry about acidity and body. Just flavor. What does it taste like? How much do I like it? What's my favorite on the table? That's the joy of cupping, and that's what we're going to do right now. You notice I got 2 cups of the same of each one. I'm looking for consistency. I want to make sure there's nothing wrong with one of the cups. That consistency is what we look for. If you have the same in every one, you have a natural sweetness. Acidity is that pleasing brightness that comes through. Body is mouthfeel, like a red wine, or like I tell people with milk. Heavy body is like cream. Light body is like non-fat milk. So we kind of look for that. You see that in wines as well, the red being a heavier body compared to the white. So I'm going through here, and I'm going to add my flavor notes. And as I do, I actually put scores on it. So this one, I really love the taste of that. You know, that one tastes very good. So that's running somewhere around an 8.5 or 9 on that particular line item. And I keep working around the table, putting all these ones in. The first time I'm going to work around, I started at about 14 minutes, where it doesn't burn my tongue, but I can taste the flavors. And I'll just write all my flavors, and I'll come back and we'll hit that second time. So I've gone around the table once, now we're at 20 minutes. 20 minutes is the perfect warm temperature to really taste all those flavors. So I'm gonna do the same thing I did, and this time, I'm gonna add more flavors. I'm gonna rate that acidity, that brightness, that pleasing brightness, like a sweet lemonade, not a sour lemonade. That body, that mouthfeel, I'm gonna evaluate that. Talk about the aftertaste. Does it leave me pleasing when I want more, or do I just want to spit it out? That's how you tell good or bad aftertaste. So let's jump in. I'm just gonna cup direct this time. It's starting to cool a little bit. I'm getting more body in there. I'm getting that pleasing kind of the lemongrass coming through, the acidity. Very clean, very nice, but very balanced. I'm getting both body and acidity. I'm getting a little more savory in here, almost that marinara I talked about, that tomato is coming through. A little bit more, almost like a tree tomato if you've ever had those you can eat out of. Really nice coffee. Let me add my notes to that. Type those out. And I'm gonna come up and I'm gonna actually score and give a number for the flavor, for the acidity, for the body. I already had the aroma scored from before. Remember, that was the smell, kind of a combination of both the dry fragrance before I added the water and the wet aroma once I added it. Obviously, the wet aroma is more important because we drink wet coffee. So I've got these down. I'm going to come around and do the same with my second coffee. Again, that same tropical notes coming through. A little bit spicy, almost getting a little bit of that peppercorn in the aftertaste now. Add those notes to my second cup. Put the numbers to it. I think the first one's a little bit brighter than this one. This is very good, balanced as well. Pleasing aftertaste. In fact, I want to have a little bit more. I'm going to work my way around this table and I'll be back in a couple minutes. First time when it was kind of a little bit hot, we got to be able to pick up that acidity and some of those first concepts of our flavors and write all those flavors down. The second pass, the body, the acidity, the aftertaste, kind of all came together with even more flavors. But I don't know about you, but when I drink coffee, sometimes I start talking too much. Before I know it, my coffee's become cool. I don't want a coffee that when it gets cool, I have to throw it out. So we taste the coffee right through the cool. So we'll do a final pass between 25 and 30 minutes, sometimes 35, depending on how many we have on the table. So I'm going to go around now and taste for that final and third time and see what I get. We're going to start on this first one again. Wow, very sweet. Oh man, I like that. So my final pass, I've got my acidity, my body, my flavor notes. I've got the scores written down. And I'm deciding, do I want to change any of them? Did it become flat as it cooled? Did it become sweeter? This one, I think it actually got sweeter. So I'm going to increase my aftertaste a 1/4 point. And now I'm going to put my overall score. How much do I like this coffee? Well, this one I actually like a lot. So I'm going to give it a 9 for overall. So when I add my scores all up on this particular coffee, ooh, 91.5. Bet you're wondering what this is. A Kenya Thunguri. Funny thing, I drink coffee all day long at work, but at home, my wife and I get up, we have a pot of coffee before I leave the house. And every morning, we have Kenya. I take home 3 bags of Kenya a week just to drink at home in the morning before I go to work. Where I get a cup of coffee at one of my coffee houses and have a cup of coffee there. And then I come into my office and I taste the rest of the day. Fortunately, caffeine doesn't affect me. I love tasting coffee. It's the best part of my day. So often I tell people, you know, I don't have to go to work. I get to go to work. And I feel pretty lucky to do that and to taste some of the greatest coffees in the world. So have some fun, do a cupping. You get the whole bean coffee. You do about 2 grams per ounce of water. In this case, it's 14 grams of coffee to 7 ounces of water. We grind them fresh. We grind them, as I said, a little bit coarser than you do the machine at home, kind of like pepper, a little bit of a slightly coarse salt. We add hot water just off the boil. We let it wait about 4 to 5 minutes. We break that crust, let them all fall. We clean it up about 14 minutes. Depending if you got a strong tongue, maybe at 12. Me, I like to value that. I wait till about 14. I start tasting. I'll go around and taste them once. I'll come back in about 20 minutes and taste a second time, writing down what I taste. I'll come back in 25 to 30 and make my final adjustments and final notes and find what I like. But I'm going to finish that with the rest of this table. And yeah, we have these charts and things that we use for cupping. And you can see all these different words on here. It's much like with wine or other things or beers. They have these same kind of things. But don't be intimidated. Have fun. Pick which one you like. The one you like, that's the one you want to buy. But if you ever want to do a cupping, this is how we do it. Give me a call. I'll cup with you anytime. Mike out.